Well, here it is, the first week in November here in Michigan, and if you're a bow hunter, this is the most exciting time of the year. And actually, to be honest, really October was pretty good for us. We had that big cold front come in, we had a lot of rain on the front side of that, and it seemed like as soon as the cold front hit, there was just deer everywhere.
And right before the cold front, we even had great hunting before the cold front, and I was able to get out, and that's the perfect time to doe hunt, and that's just what I did. Awesome. I had those does right around me. They came right up this edge eating acorns. They came right underneath me. Gave me a perfect, 12-yard shot. But I'm going to keep it nice and quiet because I saw where that went. I'm pretty sure that she went down right over there. Perfect pass-through shot. I think we made a good shot on this doe. I wasn't quite sure, so we let it sit. And I had some nice bucks around me tonight, so I wanted to make sure and wait just a little bit longer. But I got my two boys here. This is Drake, this is Reed. Reed had football practice, so we had to wait till he got done anyway. So they came out to track with me. We got a good blood trail started. I found the arrow just 15 yards past where I shot. So I had a good pass-through shot, and we had good blood for about 20 yards, and I just stopped and pulled out just to make sure that we were okay. So let's go take a look. All right. Hey. Man, that was fun. That was I wish you guys could have been with me, but you got stick tights all over your football gear.
Yeah, I do.
You think your coach is gonna like that?
No.
Come late October,
Nice
we saw a cold front coming on the Weather Channel. We're looking at our app, and both Jordan and I were smiling because when that first cold front hits and it coincides with late October, the pre-rut's happening. We were both smiling, and it worked out great.
You can't beat it when you get a cold front like that, because the last few years that pre-rut has been really warm, and when it's really warm, it's not very good. So we finally got that cold snap, and for me that meant I was able to go in close to a bedding area and hunt for a specific buck. I've been getting a lot of pictures of this buck, but it was all nocturnal. He was not moving during daylight, at least where I hunt he wasn't moving. I saw that cold front coming. I knew that was probably my opportunity to get a shot at him in the daylight. Well, it's October 25th, heading out to one of my favorite farms to hunt here in Ionia County. Really beautiful piece of property. This year, I don't have a whole lot on trail camera there, and we haven't been seeing a ton. It's been a lot of deer, just haven't seen very many big bucks. We do have one nice buck on camera. Haven't seen in a while though, but it's getting to be that time of year where you never know what might show up. So we're coming off of 2 days of solid rain. Got a great cold front here. Hopefully we'll get lucky and deer will be on their feet tonight, and maybe we'll see something worth getting excited for. Either way, it's going to be a beautiful night.
After a relatively slow start to the evening hunt, I caught some movement in a nearby bedding area. I couldn't believe my eyes when the buck I had been waiting to see stepped out.
Brett. I cannot believe what just happened. He's dead. Right over there by that field. I couldn't get the camera turned quick enough. I was just in utter amazement that he even came out. 32 yards. I owe that buck, and I'm not just saying this as a sales pitch, to trail cams, to our stealth cams that we use. I've got a ton of pictures of that buck, but more importantly, I have pictures of him on an edge of a bedding area, the bedding area he just walked out of. I have pictures of him going in and coming out the last couple weeks, so I knew he was living there, and I was just waiting on a cold front to hopefully he'd get out of bed a little earlier. All my pictures of that buck have been at dark. You get a little bit older buck here in Michigan, and they're smart, they're hard to fool. I knew he was in here. I never thought he'd come out. I've seen quite a few deer tonight, but everything's been way off in the distance. Lo and behold, just about dark, and here comes this bruiser. I don't know how good the footage is. I don't know if I really care. That's the only shooter that I had. I'm taping myself. It's so hard to do. It's so hard to kill a big one in Michigan. It's so hard to tape yourself, and I just did both of them.
Well, here he is. He didn't go very far. Just made it across the field, probably 100 yards. I actually watched him fall through my binoculars, but I was too excited to turn the camera over. This is just awesome. This buck is the biggest buck I've had on trail camera this year. I was hunting this stand hoping to see this particular buck, and that rarely all comes together, especially when you're trying to tape yourself through it. So couldn't be more excited. It's not every year that I get to shoot one here in Michigan. I'm pretty picky about what I shoot, and when you finally get a chance to put your tag around a whitetail and film yourself do it, it's pretty awesome. Just really thankful that I'm able to spend as much time as I do out in the woods. Happy to put a tag around this nice Michigan buck here, and we got a little bit of season left. Excited to get out behind the camera, and still got one buck tag, so we'll see what happens. Well, you know, that's not the biggest buck I've ever killed, but that was a really cool experience. To have that all come together, I was hunting that specific deer, and to have him actually come out and get him on camera, and I'm sure there's some luck there, but I'd like to think a lot of it was because of these trail cameras we're using nowadays and the difference they make in how we hunt.
Absolutely. They've revolutionized the way we hunt. I mean, we get very recent information, and we're able to hang on those, which is really good, and that's exactly what I did. Your buck was, you're waiting for him to show up during daylight hours. I had a buck that was showing up during daylight hours.
Well, tonight I decided to go to the very back of the property. I'm all the way back near a river. I've got a cornfield on this side, a river over here about 50 yards away. It kind of pinches the deer down right here. I decided to take the Rambo electric bike out. It allows me to sneak into a spot really quietly. I'm able to cruise right in there with this electric bike. Makes it really nice. It saves a lot of work, and it's super quiet, so you don't hear anything. I can get in, slip into these spots, and back out. But I got in here quietly tonight. I'm going to wait for a little while before I put my scent lock on, but we'll see what happens. I've been seeing some nice bucks. I'm hoping they're down in this area. We'll see. It's going right through that creek. That creek is all flooded and it's gotten really deep. It's all the way up to his chest. That is so cool. It is early. It's only 4:30. I got in the stand about 3:30, and I look up, and there's a buck standing already, walking this way. He kind of skirted around me, but maybe he'll come back a little bit later. But man, can't believe he's on his feet already tonight. Got a bunch of trail cam pictures of that buck. He just showed up in October, so he's been kind of living on this side of the river. Hopefully he comes back this way with a doe or something. It's always fun to see big bucks like that. That buck, I'll tell you what, that buck came all the way around me. Right after I got in here, I looked over and I saw him going right along the river. He came all the way around and went up near the field up there, and then he came back in here somehow. I don't know how he got back around, but I saw him coming. He came right down, hit the scrape right in front of the stealth cam. I'm sure I've got some fantastic photos. We'll see. We'll see. I've been watching him. He's still right back here. I'm watching him. He's going real slow. I'm going to try to get an idea of where he beds down, and then maybe we'll bring in a dog tomorrow.
Well, the same night I shot my buck was the same night you shot yours, and we're kind of going back and forth and talking about each hunt, and you sent me the video clip of your buck, and I remember thinking, I think he's going to be okay. It's probably a tomorrow morning kind of deal, but I think it's going to be all right. But it ended up being kind of an interesting track job.
The old saying is when in doubt, back out. And that's exactly what we did. And it was all swamp grass that was flooded, so there wasn't much tracking. So the next day we just grid searched, and he didn't go very far. It was only about 300 yards, and I ended up finding that deer.
Holy cow. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That was a hard-earned buck there. He died on an island in the middle of the river. Whew. Well, there he is. Man, that's a nice buck. Oh, am I happy with that. This buck is one that I've been after. He's the second largest buck I've got on stealth cam photos. And he was the one that was most visible, and I was so looking forward to getting a crack at him, and I did last night. Beautiful cold front night. The shot was a little bit low, and I was worried about it right at first, and but he ended up swimming part of the river. He swam part of the river and died right in the middle of the river on an island. So I had to go across and get him, and man, it was well worth it. Man, what a gorgeous buck. He's got some mass right here. He's even got big fat tines. I don't care what he scores, but I am so pleased with that buck.
Well, it's been a great bow season so far, and hopefully the best is yet to come. Good luck to all of the bow hunters hitting the woods over the next few weeks.
Yeah.